Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another book review. I just recently finished Son of Harpo Speaks, which was actually written by Bill Marks, or William Marks, his adopted son. Yeah, I like his drawings. Super talented. It seems like the whole family was really talented, and it talks about his first interaction with his mom, Susan, and he was having a hunger strike, but the first moment when he was actually fed by her, he couldn't stop eating, so it was love at first sight, and it was almost like they were fated to be. And he even gives the three fates a recommendation. He talks about that quite a bit, and I always thought that was very interesting. And my favorite chapter is the first chapter, and I'm going to go ahead and read from it. And I'm hoping that I can have a conversation like this with my parents in a dream. I know I did with my mom, and yeah, she was just checking up on me, but let me go ahead. Oh my God, Dad, it's really you. It is. Hi, son. I've got to be dreaming. Am I dreaming? I'm not really the best person to ask. Does it really matter? I guess not. What are you doing here? I thought I'd visit with you. You did, huh? Why now? Why now after 40 years? I thought it was time. Yeah, well, it's been 40 years. You died 40 years ago. I know, son. I was there. It's not like I abandoned you. It was time for me to go. Now it's time for me to come back. I wish you hadn't left us in the first place. Yep, that's life, Bill. A lot of it hurts. I can't help that. It's kind of like you abandoned me. Me and Mom and the rest of us. I can't help that either. Why don't we talk about you and who you are now? I'm Bill. I'm the same Bill that you left in 1964, only older. I sure hope that's not true, son. I've got to believe that you've learned a few things and matured a little since then. Yeah, me too. I guess I'm not the best person to ask that. Actually, you are. Well, I've got to go. Already? I'll be back. Hey, I was just sitting there in my playpen, minding my own business while focusing all attention on my latest effort. I knew something was up, so I had chosen to go on strike, a hunger strike. Being only 11 months old, and having yet to master the art of reading or speaking, I didn't realize until I was much older that my new residence was an adoption agency, something called the Children's Home Society, located at a place somewhere in Los Angeles, California. As a result, my calculated refusal to eat anything, my little ploy rendered me a physical mess. I had contracted lung disease, ear abscesses, and rickets. I had to get all of this because I wanted to attract a little attention? If I had only known those consequences would occur, maybe just crying a lot would have done the trick. But how do you know anything when you're only 11 months old? I thought that was very revealing. And of course, I love this part about how there has always been a Harpo. I'm going to go ahead and read that too. This was dated, the picture itself was dated April 23rd, 1816. It says, in Bullfinch's mythology, which I often consult on matters concerning the ancients, the Egyptian god Osiris is described as the god of the sun, the source of warmth, life, fruitfulness. In addition, he is also regarded as the god of the Nile, who once a year visited his wife, Isis. Also known as, he doesn't say this, but I know quite a bit about Isis and Osiris. They were brother and sister, so yeah, that's very intriguing. Rainbow Goddess. Actually, Rainbow Goddess was one of my screen names, so that's why I identify so well with this. By means of an inundation. Now that's what I consider really overdoing it to prove one's ongoing commitment to a relationship. Oy vey! Right. Thus they had a son who is represented sitting on a lotus flower with his finger on his lips as the god of silence. His name is Harpocrates, or Harpocrates, yeah. So, that's very interesting. I never knew that. I thought, ew, had a son named Harpocrates. So, And it has great photos of him in there and Susan, and he was on the set of Horse Feathers with Ava Trix, Amelia Earhart. He had friends like Salvador Dali, and Salvador actually said that if any person could have portrayed surrealism, it would have been Arthur or Harpo. And Arthur really hated his name Adolf because he grew up during, well, after World War II, so that name had a bad connotation to it. And I don't see why people would even like that name any longer. That name has a lot of just evil attributed to it, and it's all due to just one man. It is sad. But the book, I absolutely adored the book. And in chapter 2, I'm going to read this poem because I absolutely love this poem. This poem was, let's see. This was Hecht. He wrote a scathing bit about about film. And Hecht, actually, it was called Prayer to His Bosses. I don't know why I like this so much, but there's so much truth to it. Even though I adore cinema. But good gentlemen who overpay me 50 times for every fart, who hand me statues when I bray, and hail my whinnying as art. I pick your pockets every day, but how you bastards break my heart. O Molochs of the movie set, O geniuses whose violence has tamed the lion for a pet, O mighty wizards who dispense amusement to the world, please let me write a movie that makes sense. O let me grow one leaf of grass, one breath of truth, one cry of man's travail and quest, one peal of brass to drive art from its crapping cans, one tail that doesn't kiss the ass of 90 million fans. I don't know why, but I absolutely love that for some strange reason. I mean, there's this is so especially apropos nowadays with just the way that film is done, and it's just like, oh, we don't really care about content. We don't care if the film makes sense. We're just doing it because we're milking this cow for all it's worth. Do something original for once, and do something that is at least logical. Well, it doesn't have to be logical, but have it. Do something with plot, please. But it seems that Bill is actually a little bit before me, because he said he was thinking about, he has a play, not a play, but a screenplay that he wrote, and he said just keep the reviewers away because I don't want them to have anything to do with it. And I thought, yeah, I'm with you there. I don't like people giving me destructive. If it's constructive criticism, I can take it. If it's destructive criticism and a scathing remark, yeah, it'll kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, but because I'm sensitive. But I'm thinking when I do get into the actual industry, at first it's going to be a little bit rocky, but once I get the hang of it, then people are going to respect me more, and they'll like what I'm doing. And I don't know, it's just going to take a while, but now that I've read this, I can write Angel of Laughter, and hopefully I do it justice. What else? It talks about how he was the keeper of his father's prop box, and he he grew up playing jazz, and and I thought, oh, so he's responsible for the Love Boat theme. I thought, that's very interesting to know. And very talented, and I wonder what he's doing now, because this book was actually written in 2010. So yeah, this is pretty current. So Harpo still lives on. And I love him dearly. I just feel like he's such a kindred soul, and I love all that. Oh, did you see that? That was a left-handed catch. It's not my dominant, but I'm learning. It's just a very telling tale, and just how close they were, and how devastated he was when his father finally did die. And it wasn't a public affair. And then Chico was the second one to pass away. And then I don't know if Gummo's still alive or not. It seems to be that Gummo would still be alive. Maybe. I'm not for sure on that. Don't quote me. But Groucho was the last to die. And then Susan outlived them all. She did. She lived into... she lived to be 92. She had this big public funeral that a lot of people attended, and it just seemed like Harpo himself influenced quite a few people. And like Bill said, he and Susan died without having any enemies in the world, and that's pretty impressive. That's everybody loved them. And he had such a magnanimous personality, and I love the fact that he wanted to have this family, even though it was later on in his life. He wanted to adopt. It just shows how big and caring and affectionate that he was, and he seems like a guy that I could really get along with, and we would be, best buds. But I'm not really sure what else to say about this particular book, other than it was just really a good sort of a companion to his father's book, and just showing how much of an influence and inspiration and muse that his father was, and how brilliant he was, and just his ability to touch people in what he did, and how he made people laugh. And it proves that laughter is the best medicine. I hold wholeheartedly to this belief, because I feel like with what I'm doing and in my small way, I'm helping people too, even though I'm just kind of going wherever the wind takes me at this point in time in my life. And it's become a rather interesting journey. Now, my good news is I got the interview. I start on the 27th with my temporary job. I'm still waiting for my other business to contact me, and I'm thinking that'll be March. In fact, I have a really good feeling it'll be March. I don't know when in March, but they'll contact me, let me know, hey, we want you back. I'm coming back. So it'll keep me afloat. And I also recently applied for the Bubble Run. This is my first time as 5K, so I've never done anything to this degree before. I'm not an athlete, but it's something I want to do. It looks like fun. I mean, they got these big, huge piles of soap suds on the actual track. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm all about that. Just show me the bubbles. I'm out there. I'm just a bit kid. I love stuff like that. It's an overturned dishwasher. Yes, please, bring it on. I'm going to get my own bubble machine. One of these days, I'm going to afford 3 or 4 bubble machines, and it's going to be myself. It's going to be this cover band, and, where it's like, we're going to be called the Hitchhikers, or I don't know, because it's going to be based on my thumbs. I know this sounds really silly, but it's just kind of a going idea, thought I've had for quite some time. And I'm not a professional. I'd probably be, doing a lot of recording and whatnot. I would be doing more just being kind of spontaneous, but I want to make people happy. I want to make people smile. I love doing that. So it's what really drives me. So I get my inspiration from people like Harpo, I think. It's what I'm going to do through film, but I'm thinking at some point in time that I will get there. It'll be an uphill climb, but I think that eventually I'll get to where I really want to be. And I want to do voice acting too. I'd have to be taught, but I've got a lot of range and I could do quite a few things with my voice, and I love where it goes. I think that I would have a lot of fun doing that, even though it's more difficult to do acting behind a screen rather than up in front of people, which would freak me out, to be honest. But pretty much that's all I gotta say. And till next time, take care of yourself, be good to each other, live long and prosper. Ciao, Tootsie!